Hello, I'm Alan Edwards from Fuze Ceremonies, and we are delighted to be sponsoring this episode of I'll Do the Talking with George and Caitlin. Definitely subscribe because they've got loads more tremendous suppliers coming on, giving you loads of great advice, and you'll get the latest episodes downloaded to your device every week. And if you're on the hunt for a celebrant, then check out our website, fuzeceremonies.co.uk. Put your wedding date and venue into our availability checker. It will show you all the celebrants available on that date. You can arrange a no-obligation chat with any of them. And we are all legally authorised to conduct your ceremony anywhere in Scotland. Bespoke, all about you guys, the right amount of humour included. So give us a shout.
We've got a bunch of questions, actually, that Caitlin's been sort of building up from couples meetings she's had, like stuff that they kind of worry about.
Yeah.
And we're going to dive into that in a second. But before we do that, we're going to play a game of this or that.
Oh, right.
Nice.
And so Caitlin and I will have a question each. We've got a bunch of questions for you. And just kind of one at a time, just shout out what you prefer
Okay.
out of the different things. So this is celebrant, this or that.
So, hand fasting tartans or cuts of ribbon?
Tartan.
Tartan.
Whiskey from the Quake or sharing a Unity shot drink?
The Quake.
Unity shot.
Oh.
Only because it's all the rage at the minute and I love it.
Yeah.
Writing and saying their own vows or repeat after me vows?
Their own vows.
Their own vows.
It's so special. And you speak to so many couples who are... I don't know if this merited a long answer, by the way, but I'm going with it now. Like, if you can convince them to do it, it's just the most amazing thing that's coming from one person to the
We've
other.
got that in one of the questions, actually, so we'll welcome back for that. A we do group vow between the couple or individual personal vows?
Individual.
Individual, yeah.
Oathing stone or ring warming?
Ooh.
I would need to say ring warming just because I haven't done an oathing stone yet.
Okay.
Although I like the idea
You
of
love it.
Opportunity for one
Yeah.
of your next couples.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Laura, what was yours there?
Oh, I don't know. I'm going to go oath and stone then.
Okay.
So it doesn't feel left out.
So, celebrants' opening words, deep and romantic or crowd-pleasing giggles?
I like crowd-pleasing giggles.
If it was me, crowd pleasing giggles, but I do
Okay.
think romance is good too.
Okay.
Sitting
Depends on
on the
the
fence.
couple, we know that.
Yeah.
We know that.
Outdoor ceremony or inside in a grand ballroom?
Inside.
Depends on the weather. Because I
In
have
this
done...
situation, it's gorgeous.
If it's gorgeous outside, because
Okay.
it can be special. But if the weather's awful...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Pipe down the aisle or walking in with a live quartet?
Oh,
Can we have both?
wow,
Are we allowed
yeah.
both? I
on,
would.
come on, come on,
I
come on.
would say the quartet.
Okay.
I'm going to go for Piper.
Okay.
Confetti throw up the aisle or bubble blowing send off?
Bubble blowing.
I like the confetti. I'm a
Bubble blowing's
traditionalist.
doing the rounds just now, isn't
There's
it?
a lot of bubbles, yeah.
100%. So the ceremony finale, a mic drop laughter moment or tissues out?
Tissues.
You can
Yeah.
take that. You had the opposite on the entrance.
I know.
It's all about balance.
It's all-
Yeah, I
Laughing at the beginning, crying at the
crying
end.
at the end.
That's it.
Celebrant in a tartan kilt or a sparkly jacket?
Tartan kilt for me.
Yeah, I would say kilt too.
Brilliant. And a sweet spot 25-minute ceremony or a 45-minute full-on readings and gestures overload?
25.
25.
25.
I'm
100%.
piping in, I'm saying 45.
Gives you more stuff.
There is a. I use that word or that phrase specifically there, the sweet spot, because I think you'll agree it is all about the couple what they want.
100%.
100%. We'll say that straight off.
Yep.
However, and this leads on to some of the questions that Caitlin's kind of gathered up for her meetings and chat we had. I think there is a sweet spot on ceremony, and I think it's 25 to 35 max, and I think that includes the processional, the fidgeting into position, people sitting down, the opening stuff, the reason you're there, the love story, gestures, readings, and all that sort of stuff, and then the signing. Time could fly away on the signing, and then the recessional out the room. And I think if people chunk it up into those sections and then kind of think about how long they've been standing up, then they would go for the sweet spot.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I'll always go with what the couple want, you know.
I think it's for couples when they ask that question. I get asked it a lot on, when people call, and it's like, well, it's what you want, of course, but you're going to be standing, and if for a bride, they may be in a dress that's quite heavy. If there's a groom, they might be in a kilt with all the extras.
Yeah.
And if it's the
plaid
heating's
down to
on, I
one
know,
side.
and that's the thing. And if they have children there, there's lots of different things to consider. But I think 25 minutes to 35 is about right.
Brilliant.
Yep.
I do say to couples, because they may say, oh, well, we fancy doing this, we fancy doing that. And I'll say, well, you can do all of that. That's no problem. But obviously just be aware, the more you include, the longer it's going to make the ceremony by default. And if you're cool with that, then great.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, oh, yeah, okay. So they maybe tend to, well, we'll leave that out and we'll go for the half an hour shot.
You also need to think about the planning for the venue as well, because they will have, if the ceremony starts at 2, for example, they will factor in probably around 40 minutes. But if the ceremony ends up being an hour, so they need to...
Especially if it's venues where they do more than one wedding in a day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're the first one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you had that down as
normally-
question one, didn't you?
Yes.
That we wrote down how long is the ceremony. I
how-
think that gets asked a lot.
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's really important for me to know what time that is. That's one of the questions I always ask. Do you know how long roughly your ceremony will last? Because depending on what time it starts, then I'm thinking of what time do we have for photos? What time have I got to get those TikTok transitions before all the bridesmaids go get too drunk and aren't able to follow instructions anymore, I'm like, let's get everyone together. How much time have I got? So that's something that I do ask. There's quite a lot to go through here, so just let me know kind of what your kind of thoughts are on these. So one is about the side of the aisle that they stand on. Is it important? Do they have to have a specific... I think most of the time it's guys to the right and ladies to the left, but does it have to be that way?
Traditionally it is that, but it's really up to you. If you have a good side,
Yeah.
and you want that side to be where your photographer, your
Had that
videographer,
before,
or your
yeah.
content creator is getting most of the stuff, then that's fine. One of the things I suggest to a lot of couples, which is really nice, and I did this at my own wedding, is actually having your own families on the opposite side from where you stood.
I done the same thing.
Because, and everyone just, especially I think the older generation, you just go, well, the bride's family should be with the bride and the groom's family should be with the groom, or whichever partner it is, your family's on your side. But when you're standing there and you're looking at, there's your parents or step parents and siblings and, even your pals and stuff like that. I think that's really nice. They're looking at you, you're looking at them.
Yeah, seeing reactions, isn't it?
And vice
so
versa.
by being on the opposite side, it means that they can actually look at your face rather
Absolutely.
than the back of your face, and that you can get that wee bit of comfort.
Yeah.
I mean, you do get couples who say, no, I need my mum behind me because if I look at her, I'll just lose it.
yeah,
And so
yeah,
shaky. And that's so, consider all the options, but it is a really, really nice thing, I think.
And then about the person walking them down the aisle, what sides should they be on? So does that matter to whatever side? So if the bride's going down on the left, does that other person need to go on the right then, or is...
I think it's almost like so you can, the person walking down, so they can drop them off.
Yeah.
You're at the end, so
Yeah.
it's like if the person waiting in the aisle's there, then I would say they need to be there, so it's like a seamless kind of...
It
They
does make
arrive
it...
at the end, and they're in. The person who's being walked down the aisle is in position.
Also, as well, for the person who's walking them in, they have then got to either step in front or behind to sort of get out the way.
get out,
So
yeah.
I definitely think that
It makes it neater.
Yeah, it should be. So as you say, it's literally there at the side, opposite to the other person that's waiting.
Yeah, okay.
But obviously, if you've got a parent or a relative and maybe they have a stick and they
Yes,
need
of course.
if they have a strong arm, then obviously
Yeah.
go with that. But what the guys have said, make it nice and neat if you can.
Yeah. We touched on it slightly there, but about standing for the ceremony. So there's quite a lot of differences I'm seeing with bridesmaids standing, sitting, only the maid of honour or best man standing, and the rest of the clan sitting down. What's your thoughts on that? Do you get that question a lot? Do couples want to sit down?
Most of the time, a lot of them don't know what to do. And so, you know, consider all the options, but And I actually normally recommend have your bridal party sat down.
Yeah.
I think when you're the couple, even though you might, because you have to stand, you've got so much adrenaline going on, there's so much happening, you're not thinking about your feet. But bridesmaids, groomsmen, etc. will do. And I think it's better. And also, depending on the size of your venue, 100%. If it's quite a, because a lot of the venues are quite neat, as we know, Jaws. Sometimes you've got, you've got people like yourself, Caitlin, and videographers and photographers. If you've then got 2 or 3 or 4 or however many bridesmaids, groomsmen, etc., all standing, it can be a bit chaotic. So
I'm very much an advocate for sitting down. It gives us
Yeah,
extra room to go about.
Yeah, but people start swaying.
They do. I'm a slayer.
Or
fidgeting and
or
leaning, like you put your weight on like one leg and then you move it to the other leg. You can stand like that. So I think it's I do the same. I kind of recommend, but again, we'll always listen to the couple.
It's what the couple want.
It's what you
I
want.
agree. Yeah, I think sitting down's better for everybody.
Yeah.
One of the next questions we've got is about walking in. So can we walk in together at the start of the ceremony? If you had brides and grooms wanting to walk in together, actually, or is it usually that one person at the bottom of the aisle waiting?
For me, it's always been that. However, I have had a couple of grooms who've had their own entrance.
Yeah, that's a bit intriguing.
Yeah, I had one groom walked into The Man by Aloe Black, which I thought was quite good. And he's just got his own little, and I think that's really nice. Give them their moment as well.
Yeah.
In the
I've heard that
spotlight.
a few times recently. I usually say, ladies and gents, your attention, please. They say it's all about the bride on a wedding day, but it's actually about the other person too. Let's welcome the groom, and they kind of have a wee kind of. I often refer it to their kind of boxing ring song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're walking out the song. They're like, let's go.
Yeah, not that I don't for a minute think, guys, that people should be like using the word boxing in a wedding day.
Probably not, no. But what I have seen is if it's a same-sex couple, sometimes the entrance is a bit different. They might choose to meet in the middle. They might come in from one end and then walk down the aisle together. They might go for the traditional entrance where one waits for the other, or one comes in separately. A wedding I did a couple of years ago, it was 2 girls. One was from Scotland, one was from Sweden. So the Swedish girl came in first to a pre-played track, and then the Scottish girl came in afterwards with the piper. So there's again, it's really, if you fancy doing something different,
definitely
chat to your celebrant about it, and we can make it work.
Recently, I had so the bride walked in herself. Is that Lockside? So I think we've all been in Lockside.
Yeah.
It's a massive run-in.
Big room.
It's absolutely
It's a big
huge.
room.
And she walked down her aisle, from the curtain opening herself to the top of the kind of where the chairs ended, and the groom walked up to get her, and then walked back down.
That's
I
really
must
nice.
get that bit of content because there was a content creator there. I must get a piece of that because it was
that's
so lovely.
That's nice.
It was really nice. I think one of the things that people always ask me certainly is about the ceremony structure.
Yeah.
You found that as well, like, what actually happens.
Yeah, because a lot of them, even when you speak to couples at the start, and they know they want a humanist ceremony, and they know that they'll do vows and they'll exchange rings and they'll sign a piece of paper, they maybe don't realise all the other things that they can do. And it's not until you sit and explain it, well, we do this first, and we have the welcome, and we do a little bit about humanism, then we maybe put a gesture or a poem in, then we have your story, your vows, and so on from there until your exit. So it's certainly a question I get asked.
And it all comes back from the training, Laura, surely, because that's the whole structure is really taught in the training.
Absolutely. And I think for me, it's really important that the couples understand that they are, a phrase that we use at Fuze a lot is, you're bound by your imagination. If there's any questions you've got, ask, and if it can be included, then it absolutely will be. But the structure is, the only thing that has to happen is the thoughts on marriage, words on humanism, the legal vows, the signing of the marriage schedule, and the declarations. That's it.
Yeah.
Everything else is optional. It can be, mixed up however you want. What's gorgeous about the team and the training that you spoke about, George, is they will guide and say to make sure it flows. Because I think, for example, if you had 2 or 3 people you wanted to do a reading, doing them back to back, there's a lot of, it's quite clunky.
Yeah.
So the they're so skilled and professional at what you guys do that you will advise, well, why not maybe do it this way, which is great.
And the structure you mentioned there's actually a blog on the structure.
Yep.
On the Fuze website. If you just search under blog, the ceremony structure, it's all there. And your celebrant, of course, will guide
100%.
you, guide you through it. But that's definitely something. And then you touched on the words on humanism. It's probably worth talking about that, because we do have to say and announce it's a humanist-led ceremony, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, it separates it from, different belief structures, and humanism is fundamentally a belief structure. And, it's not a lecture for guests. It doesn't sort of go on for 10 minutes or anything like that, but it sort of just outlines why this ceremony is a little bit different from maybe ceremonies you've been to in the past in different kind of venues, what the ethos of humanism is. We're all there to respect each other and live lives the way we would like to be treated ourselves. That's the short version of it, really.
Pretty much. At least a wee paragraph.
just giving guests that outline of, well, this is the ethos, and essentially that's the ethos that the couple have bought into and wish to live their lives by, and let's all do the same.
So something that I always find really interesting is the different vows that people do. So the legal part of it, that you must say these words.
Yep.
Now, I think everybody's scared to talk. I have to say, I mean, I think about 95% of people are probably scared to talk. You obviously get it a heck of a lot more. So what are the kind of different options, and why do you need to say certain words to make it legal? What happens if they mess up? Is it not legal?
It's a really good question, Caitlin. So there are 4 choices that have been agreed by the National Records of Scotland, which govern the Marriage Act and make sure that everything's as it should be. So the couple can choose one of the 4. They can't pick and choose bits of it. Has to be the 4. Now, the reason that we do what we do, which is repeat after me, and they will do, if it has to be one word at a time, so be it. And if they get it wrong, you just go again, basically.
It usually gets a good laugh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, there's a video I've seen on numerous social media platforms where they say my waffly, and then the bride loses it and they laugh for ages. So if that happens, you just embrace it. But as long as the words are said so that the celebrant, who is the legal marriage officer, the couple and the witnesses understand them, that's fine. So it can be one word at a time, it can be 3 words at a time, whatever the couple want, and the celebrant will judge it in that moment, because although you might have someone who's extremely confident, standing up in front of all of your friends and family, suited and booted,
can change in an instant.
You all of a sudden you know the nerves kick in, and especially at that moment, I think, because that's it. This is real now.
Because they know this is the bit
this is it.
Is the important bit of it.
Exactly. So it can be done, and if they do go wrong, we just go again, and it's okay. But it's very rare because it's done so calmly, and they have access to those beforehand if they want to practice.
Yeah. They can do a wee practice run.
I did have a bride in the summer who said her now husband's, because she got it right eventually, but she said his middle name before his first name. And I just said to her, I said, "Who's that?" And the place just exploded. And then I said, "Right, come on." "Oh, did I do it again?" "I'm afraid you did." "Oh, no, you'll be fine." So, but it does. Everyone gets so worked up about it.
I think
they
sometimes
really do.
You need the laugh just to break the tension.
Yeah.
You go, right, everyone relax. Like it's fine.
It's fine, yeah.
You're surrounded by your friends and your family, so if you can be silly in front of anybody, it should be all of these people in the room as well. Question that I'm very keen to know from everybody, and I'm going a wee bit rogue here. It's a 2-parter.
Right.
So on your gestures, what's your favourite gesture, and what's the strangest if you've done one that's like out of the norm, that's been a little bit different? Like, what have you seen? What has been your favourite one? Alan, I'm throwing it to you
Starting
first.
with me. I mean, I'm an old soul. I like the hand fasting. I just think it's one thing that sticks out to me, because the first ever Humanist wedding I attended as a guest was in 2018, so 3 years before I did the training. And the couple at that time did a hand fast. And I'd never seen it before. I'd never heard of it. I had no clue what it was. And I was transfixed by it. What a lovely thing. That's fantastic. And then my wife and I did it at our own wedding. And again, we had loads of people at our wedding coming up to us. That thing you did with the ribbon, that was brilliant. And it really, really captivates an audience, you know, particularly if you're not familiar with humanist weddings at all, or just that gesture. And I know it's a lovely keepsake as well. And you know, you asked the question earlier about, you know, tartans or ribbons. The loveliest example I had was a couple last year. Both of them had lost their fathers, and the groom had also lost his sister. So the seamstress who did the bride's alterations managed to weave together this ribbon, which had one of the dad's bowling ties, a part of a Partick Thistle tie, because that was the team that one of them supported, and a gym top that belonged to the groom's sister. And it was absolutely stunning. And then when you tell guests that that's what this is made of, and the symbolism of it, you know, it's fantastic. And that's the thing, if you're looking to honour people in that way,
that's it.
What a great way of doing it.
Such a nice way to do
it.
Laura, what about you? What's your favourite?
This is controversial because every celebrant I speak to are like, oh, sand ceremony, because I just think, because it's so messy and it's tricky, and it's all celebrants love doing it. I know that. I'm not saying they don't, but it's the trickiest of them all. But I just think it's beautiful, and what a gorgeous keepsake, especially if you've got a blended family or if you already have children. I just think it's gorgeous. But I have to give special mention. The first time I saw it was actually you, George, that did it, and I'm seeing it more and more now, which is the mother's kiss.
Yes,
yes, God. Yeah. I remember seeing that online when you first did it, and I bawled like a baby. I didn't know the couple, I didn't know the mums, but it was as if it was like my mum doing it. Oh my goodness. And I've seen it getting more and more popular now, and I just think I've got goosebumps now just thinking of how beautiful it is. So that is my favourite, I think, and it's the most unusual at the moment.
Love that. And throw it to you now, Dad.
To me, well, I'm going to say my current favourite is the oathing stone. You mentioned it earlier. And I say we had a recent one just a few weeks ago where, and this is where you tie in this personalisation of, it's not just a stone that's been, you can get, there's some great companies out there. In fact, shout out to Celtic Oathing Stones, Elle from there. She sent one to me actually for hand painted, and it was, I use it on the wedding show tables and stuff like that. It's really beautiful. And it's where I always get the groom, where it's a bride and groom, to hold their hand out like that and place the stone in. Because I always joke and say, we want the bride's hands on top, because they're a lot nicer looking. They get beautiful nails down. They're a lot nicer looking. I don't care what industry the guy's in, they will not be as nice as the bride. And usually I suggest they kind of clasp it together and they'll set their legal vows in stone, or a personal vows in stone, and what have you. But what I had the other week there was something, this couple took it a wee bit further. They were doing the North Coast 500 little journey and stuff like that. And there'd be son with them, Oren, and they stopped as a wee surprise. The dad stopped and took a detour to the Glenfinnan Viaduct. So the mum and the wee boy's massive Harry Potter fans. And they went down, there's a viaduct, sort of stream underneath the viaduct, as you'd expect. And Oren found this beautiful quartz, on one side, quartz, shiny, sparkly.
Oh, lovely.
Wow.
Honestly, you think it was like a gift shop. It was like, and literally was just in this stream. So they took it home, polished it up and whatever, and that's what they used.
Oh,
that's amazing.
He was the stone bearer.
Oh, nice.
On the wedding. Well, I think he was actually the ring bearer. He'd done a poem, and he was he done the ring,
right,
brought the ring from. So yeah, that's my current favourite.
Exhausted by the end of the day, and you can lie down.
That's my current favourite. However, the one that you and Callum done at your wedding with the sort of time capsule box with the wine and the letters. Tell us all about that.
So we had a wooden box and we put in a bottle of wine, which was the same type of wine that we shared on our first date.
Oh.
Very hard to get, but managed to find it in a weird place in the corner of the internet. Wouldn't discuss that. Managed to get that, and you know how on like each anniversary it's like the first one's for paper, and then so your fifth one is wood, and we put the bottle of wine along with letters to each other into that, and then we locked it away, and we'll reopen it on our fifth wedding
Fifth, yeah.
anniversary
Lovely.
and read the letters to each other. So the box is always out in the corner of the kitchen. And I always just stare at it and go, God, what did I write? Because I remember writing it the week before we get married, and I remember shaking as I was writing it and going, God, my handwriting's awful. I really should have done this way earlier and got it printed out. But I don't think his is as nice. Any better than mine, so we'll find out in a few years' time. I'll keep you posted.
That is so lovely.
And you done the fifth because it's wood, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the wooden box and
Oh, it's a lovely idea.
Yeah, it's something just a wee bit different, how to try and incorporate something quite personal. But that's what I quite enjoy, that you can make each of the ceremonies dead different. For me, you know, even when we're doing a wedding together, I used to ask what you were doing at them, but now I don't. I like to find out as a surprise along with everybody else and hear what words and different variations, you know, from yourself or anybody else going, how are they wording that? Or, you know, it's so interesting for me to find out from everybody.
But the symbolic gestures, I mean, we've got that episode on Say I Do Fuze. Yep. There's tons of blogs on the website about it. And actually on the Fuze profiles, as you said earlier, Laura, when you click in, there's lots of social media links, and the team do a lot of that stuff. But but one thing I wanted to sort of close off, the list is endless, by the way. Yep. We need to book you in again to finish the list. But the love story, that deserves a wee chat.
100%.
So the love story part of the ceremony, I mean, we've heard lots of stuff, but I think the question is, how long should it be? A lot of couples ask me, or how much should I disclose to you? What have you heard, Laura, when you've kind of been around or took
it's my favourite part of the ceremony because not everybody will know everything about their first date or how they proposed. Most people know they proposed, you know, in Paris or wherever, but they don't really know what went into that. So it's my favourite part of the ceremony. Again, it's up to the couple. I know this sounds like a cop-out, constantly saying it's up to the couple, but it is up to the couple. Some couples are wanting it to be quite reserved and just want to say, this is where we met, this is where we got engaged, that's it. And that's absolutely fine. Other couples want to tell you everything about, you know, things that they've gone through, different funny little stories. I think personally, it's up to what you're most comfortable with. The whole day you should feel comfortable and not on edge about anything that may be said or how someone may take something. One of the favourites and ones that stands out the most was, it was a couple getting married and the bride had actually previously dated the best man.
You're joking.
And everyone knew, it was no big secret. They'd been together for 1.5 years.
Wow.
Whoa, that's not a fling either. That is.
And he was the best man. And obviously they'd realised that their relationship was running its course, and in swooped the groom. But they'd become very, very good friends, and they actually were put together by the best man, who actually said, you two should be together. Wow. I mean, what an amazing friend, you know.
My gosh,
so that became, and I said, because I chatted to both the groom and the best man before the ceremony, and I said, I really want to hang around for the best man's speech. I'm gutted I'm missing that.
Oh.
We need to find out. Is that on video?
Who was the videographer for that wedding?
But that, for me, made it so unique, because when you talk about personal and what you're comfortable sharing, these were an open book, this couple. There was no hiding anything.
It must have been if
their three reasons were amazing. But so for me, that's the one that stands out the most, because you do think like, oh, how is that? But the fact he was still the best man and they were still best friends, and he was now married as well, and everything worked out perfectly. But what a mate to be like, this isn't working, but do you know what? I know who'd suit you.
Could you imagine, though, trying to be like to your pal and go, oh, she's doing my nutting, and he goes, I know she used to do that all the time. Oh, she's so annoying. Could you imagine?
Oh, some things have never changed.
I know, but in some ways a great thing. But yeah, also she started doing this yet.
But there are. I know as celebrants, you'll agree that there are like the sort of things you must. I would suggest to couples that how you met.
Yeah.
What was your first date like? Mm-hmm. So there kind of stuff would you say would be like a a sort of staple of a love story.
Yeah, definitely. The most important things are how they met, the circumstances, who sent the first message, was it online, etc. Where was the first date, the first kiss, all of that. Also the proposal, as we've talked about. And as Laura said, it's when if it's a bride and groom, if the groom's explaining what it was like getting the ring through airport security and making sure the beeper didn't go off, and then finding this perfect spot, but then a group of lads or a stag do go past, so he had to wait till the next night, and then there was a storm and he had to wait again, and he had this big speech ready and he didn't say any of it because he was so nervous. So all of that. So other things I always ask about, certainly first holiday. You know, and you know, stories from going away, moving in together, and what was that like? You know, if you've either lived at home or you've lived on your own, or you've lived with guy mates or girl pals, and all of a sudden you go to living with a boy or a girl, what was that like? All those kind of things. And I've pulled back a wee bit from asking about meeting the families, because I've had fathers of brides coming up to me at the end of the wedding, and they're very, very nice, and they'll say, "That was great, pal, but you've still half my speech." But I say it's fine. They'll be drunk by the time you do it, and you'll say it much better than me. So,
no, I think you're right.
But things like that.
But even when someone says, like, how did we meet? And, you know, back to the Tinder thing we were joking about earlier, if it is an online dating app, some people have said to me, that's FYI for you, by the way, can we just go straight to the... And their first date was on the... such and such. So I think there's flexibility from us point of view. So if MD's going to sit in there listening and watching, it's not... The stuff we're talking about we'll chat with you, but by all means, you just say, this is in and this is out.
What I say to my couples is, your wedding ceremony isn't a comedy roast.
No.
And you're not there to be sent up in front of your family and friends. So if there's any incriminating material in that script, it's because you've consented to it being there, and you're all right with it.
Yeah, because people sign off the script, don't they?
Yeah, but we're not there to catch you out. You know, so if you've told us something, we write something down. If they want to, Alan, got to take that out because nobody knows about that, or totally fine. You know, it's because it's not my day, it's theirs. So.
I think that's the most important thing you just said there, George, is that all couples will sign off the ceremony, so they get to see it. If there's any surprises, they'll be kept out. You know, so for example, if they've got personal vows or 3 reasons, they'll be kept out, but they get to approve what's been written. So there won't be any shocks on the day of going, oh, we told you that in confidence, or, you know, so that's really important note, I think. There's not going to be, you know, stand on the day going,
so don't reply to that email and go, brilliant, can't wait to see there, read it.
Exactly.
Please do read it.
Yeah, please do.
Definitely. So what would be your, let's wrap up and just start with you, Alan. What would be your kind of top tip for couples choosing a celebrant?
Definitely speak to a few people. I mean, I say this to couples in these prospective meetings. I can easily say, book me because I'm brilliant. You've got to have someone. I mean, I know we were joking about the Tinder thing, but it's like a match. You need to, and you just know. I personally feel I just connect with the right people, and you just get a sense. Yeah, I think they're going to go for this. You need someone that you feel comfortable telling that story to, with all those details, that you feel is going to do your story justice on the day, is going to deliver it in the right way for your guests, for yourselves as well. And just as a nice person, you feel... Maybe it's amazing the amount of times you meet a couple and you find you bond over something. You both know a certain person, or you both were in the same place at the same time. You were at the same gig. You went to the same place on honeymoon. You met your partner in the same way. It's unbelievable, the connections that you find when you meet couples. So, but definitely, I always say to couples, it's not like you've gone into the petrol station, you filled the car up, and you see the rows of chocolate bars, and even though you're watching your figure, you just go, that'll do. A celebrant cannot be that'll do.
No.
Because it is such a vital part of your day. You can't be coming away thinking, it's got to be wow.
Totally echo everything Alan's just said. You are going to be at your most nervous. No matter how relaxed or chilled you are as a person, it's a lot. There's been a lot of build-up. There's been a lot of worry. You know, so when you see that person standing, not only your loved one who you're about to commit the rest of your life to, but also the person you've chosen to do that, you need to feel comfortable and at ease with them. You need to feel trust. You need to feel a connection. Again, it all sounds very Tinder. However, it's so important, and those words, Alan, are so spot on. That'll do. You'll do. No, it doesn't do. It is the most important part of your day. Everybody's looking forward to the meal and the party. Of course they are. However, that is what everybody's there for. So you need to feel the most confident at that moment, because it sets the scene for the rest of the day.
I would just say one thing. If you decide you don't connect with a celebrant, we're all big boys and girls. Please tell us no.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
please tell us. We'll move on. It's
Don't
fine.
ghost us, just
They ghost us.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's
Thank
been
you.
lovely to have you both.
Yeah, from one family to another for me
Exactly.
today.
Yes.
So it's been great to have my Fusilier family in the room.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely loved it. And so thanks a lot for inviting us along.